first and foremost, what's the background in real estate investing? So how long you been doing this? Like, all those good fun things.
So nice to meet everyone. Thanks for having me out again, Damon. Appreciate it. ABEL Pacheco. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. I started investing in 2008. So I bought my first single-family house, and then from 2008 to 2018, I bought 8 doors, kind of the slow, methodical MLS way. I didn't know there was any other way to buy a house. Like at that time, it was so funny. Yeah. So anyways, just trucking along, and I'm a landlord or rental property manager, rental owner, whatever. And then from 2018 to 2020 now, we went from 8 to 800 doors. So I'm a multifamily syndicator as well. So basically, thank you. Thank you. So I have 2 parts of the business today. I have a single family business that does wholesale, that does flips. We have, rental portfolio, and then we have the multifamily business that all we do is buy 100 unit plus apartment complexes, and that's how we went to 800 doors so quickly. Right, so 800 was not single family, wholesale deals, and not that part, yeah.
Yeah, if you do 8 deals at 100 doors, hey, it goes really quick, right?
And both of those businesses, what I love about REI BlackBook is both of those businesses are actually run through REI BlackBook. You have some smart individuals like Marcy. I'm not as smart as her. When I look at these workflows, you mentioned I was meeting with Drew and Risha. I did hire them to build this stuff out for me. I understood enough that I did not want to create another job for myself. I was all of this was W-2, working full-time, 9 or 8 to probably 5:30 or 6. I have a 2-year-old daughter. I have a 6-month-old baby boy. So the last 2 years have been busy on that side. My beautiful wife, she, God bless her, she loves, she supports me through everything. But the time was very, very limited. And I made a good, I had a good professional career in IT hosting. So I was making some good money. And I knew I didn't have I couldn't spend the hours that I was making, $200 to $300 a year in the IT hosting business. I couldn't justify myself starting another business that would do 100 or 150K. Yeah. So my time was so valuable. Yeah. And so what I did was I created the business system. A lot of us came from elite legacy. I came to the free package also. My sister grabbed me and brought me on, and she paid the $500. So I was completely free for me. And then by the end of the 3 days, I was dropping my 20 grand. And anyways, so I did all that part of it. But I knew I wanted to create a system from Kiyosaki's kind of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Absolutely.
This is what REI BlackBook creates. I didn't want another job. I wanted to own a business system.
100%.
And that's what it's allowed me to do. So now I do wholesale deals. Like I said, like last year we did four flips. We did 3 or 4 wholesale deals. I only started wholesaling because I didn't have enough money to keep flipping houses. And then, now we're doing about 2 to 3 deals a month today.
Okay. All right. So, and that's where you and I connected and started chatting a little bit, actually at the last boot camp, right? So let's kind of jump in to what that residential piece looks like. The single family is really going to be a heavy focus for us, right?
Sure.
So you went all in on the Bandit sign on wheel strategy. So you got your rehabs,
yep,
as well as the wholesale deals, and you really started wholesaling
like November.
Yeah,
at the end of the year.
So you did 2 to 3 wholesale deals. How many wholesale deals did you end up closing out 2019 with?
I think we closed like 4 or 5 by the end of the year. And then I've got 3 in Jan, 3 in Feb. I got another 3 in March. So it kind of feels like we're right in that 2 to 3 pocket a month. And so closing, I have more deals like under contract,
in the pipeline, and everything else. But you're consistently closing
at the title
collecting,
company,
paychecks on 3 deals, 3 deals a month, wholesale deals. So Abel's strategy, what he really did is he went all in on Bandit sign on wheels, right? He's got how many drivers on the road now? I know
it's like 390, so not quite 400. But
yeah. Man,
I ended up
think we should go recruit 10 drivers.
My goal was originally, it was the race to 400. If you look at that tag in our Connect, and then I go, we're getting calls.
390, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's got 390 vehicles on the road. This is his only marketing strategy, right? His only marketing strategy. for the residential, for the single family side, okay? 390 cars on the road. And last year he did 4 rehabs. So his whole thing was rehabs. But he was getting so much call volume, and he says, I ran out of money. Really, at the end of the day, you know, it's difficult to start doing multiple rehabs, especially some of the commercial stuff you're doing. So it's not like you're just doing the single family, right? So you're doing a lot of other stuff. And so we had actually chatted. I was like, dude, start wholesaling that stuff, man. Like you're got so many leads coming in. Like you need to start wholesaling. And so he started that in November after the boot camp.
Yeah.
And, you know, closed 5 deals in November, December, and now doing 3 deals a month, all off of Bandit sign on wheels. All off of Bandit sign on wheels, okay? Now there's another strategy that, you know, and I'm sure he's pretty busy right now anyways, but there's some other stuff that I think that we could probably add to it. So I don't want to, like, you know, add more stuff to your plate every time you come to boot camp, but man, I think there's a very complementary strategy to have those folks that are passively earning revenue by putting the sticker on the back of their window to actually start actively searching for deals with more of a bird dog, you know, driving for dollars type program and stuff like that. I think would be really powerful. But talk to us about your experience, man. So how in the heck did you get 390? Well, how long did it take you?
A year. I was talking to Drew. I go, man, it was like 2 years ago that we were talking. He goes, that was January 2019. That was last year. Times really flew very fast. So that was about a year. And I got, I guess, the progression, right? It was Craigslist ad, put it out there. My written, hey, do you want to drive around with a sticker on your window and I'll pay you $500? I buy houses. I've been in real estate for a while and I'm going to make it happen, right? So I was answering phone calls at the beginning and I probably took, 100, 200 calls. I juiced a bunch of ads. They're $5 ads. I probably had like 20 going, 10 or 15. So too many calls on my cell phone with the babies at the house.
Personal cell phone?
Oh, this is a personal cell phone. Yeah, this is before I realized, I've got a powerful tool called REI BlackBook. So anyways, I'm answering phone calls morning, afternoon, night, whenever they're coming in.
Yeah.
And I had started getting all these names and numbers in an Excel, like my hand, and just kind of putting them together. And I told everyone, once I'm ready, I'm going to call you back. And this is what I'm doing. I took those calls from like November to January, I think.
Okay.
When I called Drew. So I had 50, people lined up, and I was just getting them excited. I show them the sign, show them what I'm going to do, and then I hadn't actually paid for the stickers yet. So I was getting everybody ready. Really, what I wanted to do though with those first 50, 100, I wanted to see for myself what those people were saying, the objections. So I'm the opposite of Marcy, where like I'll talk to just about anybody.
You want to get on the phone.
And I love hearing that, and that's also a time. It's so hard to separate that. But anyways, I'm talking to everyone, and then I go, okay, there's REI BlackBook. Let me figure out how to hit the easy button on this whole thing, and that was Bandit sign on wheels. Get a nice little commercial. Get the extension or the Let me think about this. Craigslist commercial that wires them to some workflow, automated landing page, and then they fill out their information. There's a contract that they sign and opt into that triggers something else to my virtual assistant. Elise is awesome. She's the first front lines on the phone, answering all of them after their contact information is there, after they accept a day of the week that they want to be scheduled. Hey, do you want to schedule Tuesday, Thursday, whatever? And then she'll answer the call. She'll work with them to see if they understand the program. And then my acquisition manager, which at the time was my installation tech, Mr. Anthony, he's just an amazing employee. Part of the reason why I would say is I answered a bunch of calls in the beginning. I found that through that process, I got to interview those 50 or 100 people calls, and I wanted to see who wanted to learn real estate, who wanted to, gain the knowledge that I had and would help me build my business. So I was looking for drivers, but I was also looking for the person that was going to help me implement the system. That was Anthony. He crushed it. He was the guy out there doing 50 installs a month, every month. We didn't get any calls till like 55 signs were on the road, 60, and I'm like, this is a little slower than I thought, but just keep pumping them out, and that's what we did. We did like 50 signs. We'd have to schedule 8 people a day to get 4. in a day. He said it was like herding cats. So a lot of people schedule the flake. We got weather. It's not that cold in Texas, but people like freak out. I'm not gonna meet you. It's too much weather. So anyways, just put on the signs, kept putting them on. The important thing I think through all of this that if I had to boil it down to give you some advice, I'm not the smartest, tactical, strategic individual when it comes to this workflow process. But what I was really good at was recruiting a team of individuals that were bought into my long-term vision. I told them what I wanted to do. We're gonna have, nobody else in San Antonio is doing this. I'm gonna have 400, 500, 600 signs. We're gonna have a lot of calls. We're gonna help a lot of people. We're gonna buy a lot of houses. We're gonna improve the community. And I want somebody that's gonna help me with that process. From the drivers all the way to the installation. And that team around me, they saw the vision and they're like, okay, cool. And I told the first 50 people, I told everyone, but I told the ones that I talked to specifically, you're probably not gonna get paid in 1 month or 2 months or 6 months.
So setting proper expectations.
Set great expectations. And I said, there's nobody with these signs, no one's gonna call your ad. But when you start seeing your own ad on other people's cars, it's gonna take them like a marketing message, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 12 times for somebody to actually respond. So I said, once you start seeing other people's cars on the road, then they're gonna see yours, then they're gonna call, then it's gonna help every one of us as a driver. And let me pause here, because probably questions.
Well,
I got a lot more stuff in here.
No, I know we could talk about this for hours because I love this stuff. But so let me ask you this: what were some of the common objections, on the first 50 people that you talked to?
It's like, well, you're not going to pay me in advance. Are you going to give me any money to do that? How do I guarantee that you're going to pay me some money? Or how do you have enough money to buy these houses? How long have you been doing this? I mean, all kinds of just random objections.
So it sounds like you handled them obviously very well because a lot of them stuck and did the installs.
Sure.
So how did you overcome some of those objections? You're not gonna pay me up front?
Absolutely not. I pay for the stickers, and they cost me $25 to $30. Then I have a person answering the phone call. I have a system that takes all of this stuff and processes everything. And then I have to pay an installation to go put it out there. And then I have to pay you $500 when it closes, and I still have to buy a house. I'm doing this 100% on my own dime, and you're basically allowing me to rent some space on your window. So if you want to opt in, cool. If not, I have to call the next person back. I gotta go.
You guys like that? Pretty easy to overcome. That is gonna be the number one objection, right? That's gonna be the number one objection. What do you mean you're not gonna pay me up front?
Yeah.
Okay, how am I gonna get paid?
So you'll get paid when we close a deal, if and when we close a deal. Really what happens is I get 100 calls in a month. 50 of them will be complaint calls about drivers, about maybe you're driving, so stay safe on the road. After I filter through that, I can make 10 offers, 1 sticks. If that one's you, I pay you $500. Also, you can make another $500 if you tell your sister, and your sister puts an ad on her car, and if your sister's car gets called, her extension, and I'm going to pay your sister $500 and you $500 also. So it's another way to get it. And then also we have a discount tire program. So if you have discount tire in your backyard, I let them know I have a fleet of, at the time, 100 drivers or 200 drivers, and they gave us a discount program, and I put that in the program as kind of that passive. And I did the same with Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube had a like a 20% off coupon for their oil changes. So I said, hey, worst case scenario, we'll get a discount tire, get some discounts at Jiffy Lube, and I tried Little Caesars, but they didn't bite.
All right, so a couple things that they can do. They can be proactive, go recruit others. Hey, give me your friends and family, and that increases the likelihood of earning additional revenue.
And I paid them $20 to refer somebody.
$20. Okay, so they got the
referred a
immediate
sister,
referral.
And I gave them like $20 in hand or something like that.
Okay.
15, $20.
What kind of discount did you have at Discount Tires and Jiffy Lube?
It was like 15% at discount, and Jiffy Lube was pretty good. It was like 40% or 30%.
Oh, wow.
They're pretty good. They're pretty expensive. I found out also, but at 30%, it makes it like a normal price oil change.
So they can get some instant, immediate wins.
Correct.
And save some money right away. And it's like,
Immediately.
hey, look, this really is risk-free for you at this point. I'm taking all the risk. I'm going to pay for the sticker. I'm going to install the sticker. I'm going to pay for I'm going to handle all the work. You're not going to have to do anything. You're going to have to field any calls.
Do any of the work.
And in fact, if you want to even be proactive and speed up the deal, then hey, I'll pay you $20 for everybody you can refer in that puts a sticker. But go get your oil changed, whatever, and you'll win on this deal just for me putting a sticker on the back of your window.
And I made it a point to say this is purely passive for you, 100% passive income. But if you want to go get active income and make $1,000 for a house that you find, then I have the Property Scout program was something I said you can also be a scout, and if you bring me a house, I'll pay you $1,000. That was active. It's harder to do it, so I pay you more, pay you $1,000. And then I also some people took pictures of their cars and put them on their own Facebook. So we would give them ideas. Part of the workflow, I think, from like maybe Drew Risha is like, hey, you should get them engaged. You're awesome. Get them engaged. Love it. And then, thank you, Chris. And then part of it is like, hey, took a picture. They send it out on their own page, and I'd flip them a Starbucks. My wife she was like, you should send that guy a Starbucks card. That guy was awesome. I was like, okay, this is great.
Yeah.
And then there's more, but let me pause.
Yeah. So well, there's a lot to this. Like, sincerely, guys, here's the thing. Whenever you guys ask me, it's like, what works? Look, it all works. It's a matter of what you put into it.